I watched this video quite a long time ago about this old lady. I don't know what I forget her name as well, but apparently she predicts like these crazy events in human history. Like she predicted, I don't even, I don't remember. She predicted like some very very big events. I think maybe 9/11, maybe like the killing of Osama. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it was,
Do you know her
but
name?
no, I don't. Um, but anyways, one of the things she predicted was Trump is the last U.S. president
When did she predict that though?
before she passed away.
But like, did she predict it before Trump became
Yes,
elected?
yes.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Dude, it's freaky because she got other stuff right. Like all of her predictions were right.
When did she predict it? Like, if she predicted it like in 2008, like then I'd be scared. But if she predicted it like the day
Oh no,
before,
I'm such an oompa loompa. I think it's the recession she predicted, not 9/11. Confused
the
those things
2008
totally.
recession.
Yeah, I think she definitely predicted the recession. Um,
I'm sure a lot of people predicted it.
yeah, but I don't think a lot of people. I think a lot of people that had the ability to use financial model skills and
Not just random
understand that real
people.
estate. Like, were you able to predict 08 or no?
I was in high school in '08.
Do you? All right. Do you know anyone personally that predicted it happening?
No.
So yeah. So shut up.
Oh wait, what happened in 2008?
The recession.
No, I know that, but like, what was I doing at the time?
Oh, you were like 10 years old.
I graduated high school in 2014, so 6 years. Yeah, I was in
Oh,
like
you
middle
definitely
school.
not 10 years old.
Yeah, if I graduated in 2014 in high school, then 6 years before that, I was in middle school. I had my own problems. For screw the recession.
Yeah, that's true, man. Hormones and teenagers and everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Do we?
yeah. So I wonder if we're gonna see a very big paradigm shift within the next.
Did she actually predict that Trump is the last president? Is it,
Like she said it.
but
Like
like, is that what she said, or is that just you exaggerating what she said?
I don't know, but I'm gonna look up this YouTube video right now.
Okay, we'll put
Or
it. We'll put it in the comments, in the description.
yes, we will. For people that are listening, like half an hour and or wherever we're at right now.
Personally, I really hope Trump is not the last president of the United States.
Well, I say it's interesting because what if we just have a total revamping of our political system, our government structure?
I would be scared. I'd be
Well,
very scared.
why?
Well, what would the change be?
I don't know, but it would have to preserve society.
Any system that is an anarchy will preserve society, but
Well,
how
obviously, a government that's paid for and
America
paid by
is
the.
America's still the greatest country in the world, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to come out of
I read a
America. A lot of
book.
bad stuff, obviously, but a lot of good stuff. I think it's the best place to have opportunity.
Opportunity 100%, like, but I read this book, Democracy in America, by a French philosopher. No, what's the word for, not bureaucrat, French aristocrat,
Mm.
who came from France in the 1800s, and he came to America. And what was his name? It was Tocqueville, but what was his first name? Talk. I'm googling this, audience. Tocqueville. Alexis de Tocqueville. He wrote Democracy in America,
Hmm.
and this was in the 1800s, mind you. This is nowhere near like our modern day society, but a lot of the things he like observed in America was really interesting and
Mm.
really like holds true, I'd say, nowadays, just as it did 200 years ago.
Really?
Like, one thing he said is that like community is really important in America. Like, there is a federal government, there is an overall government, but when it comes to people, they don't really care much about the government. They care more about their community governments. They care about their community societies.
Yeah.
They come. They come. Oh my God. They care about. they care about stuff in their like own bubble, their own area.
Yeah.
Then they don't really care. Like they're aware of the government, they're aware of the president, they're aware of all that stuff, but it doesn't really it never really made a big impact in them.
Mm.
And how one thing that Americans valued versus like Europeans at the time was status, I'd say is the word, where if you're wealthy or considered like great, that's really important because the community will view you in a good light. And if you're not like that, people will look down at you. But there was also this sense of equality that anyone could achieve that. So even if there were rich people and poor people sitting in the same train or in the same carriage or in the same bar, but like you viewed them differently, but you also understood that both of them could achieve that status. And that's very similar, I'd say, to now, wouldn't you say? It's not a perfect one-to-one, but mind you, this is 200 years ago. And slavery and women's rights. Slavery was a thing, women's rights was not a thing. You know, the fact that he was saying a lot of this stuff in a time like that, and how a lot of it still is pretty, not identical, but still holds fairly true in certain regards, is interesting in my opinion.
Well, I can say for a fact that I don't want to say that equality of opportunity is all there.
No. He wrote specifically that like the way they treated the slaves was very hypocritical. The way they treated women was like he wasn't stupid. He wrote. It's like, by the way,
your society has
the Native Americans, the African slaves, the women. You know,
they're
not. He wasn't saying, oh, you're a perfect society, but he was fascinated because America was one of a kind at its time and still is one of a kind. Like, how many countries are like America?
Oh, man. I mean, right now, at the time we're speaking, not a single one.
But for better and worse.
For better and for worse, yes.
One of the reasons he gave that was the people who came to America, they didn't have the virtues that the Europeans did. Or rather, they had, like, different virtues. Like...
freedom and...
Not just that, but the sense of self. You know, in Europe... Like, for example, if you were French or Italian and you did something great, this proves that the French or the Italians are great. Whereas if an American did something great, it's, I am great. Which is different. And in my opinion, it still holds kind of true. Like, if a German does something good, it's like, oh, well, he's German, so Germany is obviously really good. An American does something great, you're not really thinking, America is great. You're thinking, oh, Michael Phelps, oh, he's pretty good at swimming. You're not thinking, oh, Americans are great at swimming.
Yeah, that's true. True that. I wonder if that's a sign of times. Like, is that a sign of advancement, or is that a sign of...
I think it's just our culture from a historical standpoint.
So it's a cultural thing.
Yeah. Because, like, America didn't have a culture up until 200 years ago, which is a luxury that literally no other country in the world had. Except maybe the South Americans, like the South American countries. But I think there's a lot of corruption down there.
Yeah, there's a bit of that over there.
I don't know. I can't say for certain.
I think the one thing that I've, like, learned... I haven't learned the hard way, thank goodness, but I've definitely learned as I've studied society, I don't study people. I think I know people pretty well, and I like talking to people and everything and learning their viewpoints, but man, oh man, like, you can see that ignorance is definitely not something that you want to be a part of yourself.
I think we're all ignorant to a certain point.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like, ignorance in a bad way.
No. Here's the thing, right? No one knows everything. I don't know everything.
Yeah, and it's very important that everybody listening and that you yourself can...
You admit that, though. No,
exactly.
Socrates was pretty smart. You know,
Socrates,
the Greek philosopher, because his biggest philosophy, like, everyone was always telling him, most famously, everyone was like, you're really wise, you're really smart. And he said, I'm not wise, I'm not smart. It's like, what do you mean? You're saying all these great things. It's like, I don't know anything. I'm just questioning everything. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
The difference between me and all the other philosophers is that I actually say I don't know anything. That guy over there, he's saying, oh, I can explain this, I can explain that. Socrates is just like, I don't know what this is. I have some thoughts, but like, I don't know if I'm right.
How can you prove it?
You can't. It's just, it's my opinion. You can take it or leave it, but like, I don't know. And no one knows. No one knows everything.
Yeah.
But like, the thing is, I don't remember if I said this in the last podcast. It's like, I have several definitions of stupidity, and one of them is, you know, a person who's stupid is not someone who doesn't know anything. A person who is stupid is someone who thinks they know everything. And I think
stupid is a harsh word.
No, stupid is the exact word I want to use there. Because think about it. If you don't know anything, but you are at least self-aware that you don't know, that is some form of wisdom, you know. As silly as it may sound, like you are consciously aware of like where you stand. Whereas if someone who assumes they know everything, they're just gonna preach to you and like tell you how to live your life. They're gonna tell you right from wrong. They're basically going to say what is and what isn't. And who are they to say that? They're nobody. But they don't think that. They think they're somebody whose voice and opinions matter.
Yeah. I forget how the quote goes, but is it those who think they're the smartest are actually not?
I never heard that quote.
I
remember Morgan Freeman's quote or something. It's like, to have an argument with a smart person or an intellectual is very hard. To have an argument with a stupid person... Oh, no. To win an argument with a smart person is really difficult. To win an argument against a stupid person is impossible.
Yes.
And it's true.
Yeah. Funny enough, actually, Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I adore, this guy is like one of the most bright human beings to ever grace this planet. Like, he needs to keep doing what he's doing. Shout out to you, Neil. But Dr. Tyson rather. But he said that he doesn't like arguing, or he doesn't like debating people in general, because when you're debating something, you're essentially debating a fact. No. You're trying to debate like an objective fact most of the time. And the way he defines objective truth and objective facts is they are always true under certain conditions, right? So there is no reason to debate them because they will always be true. Like, this couch is red, or mahogany. I don't know. You get the point.
Yeah.
If we're talking for more than 2 minutes about why you think this couch is blue, then we're both wrong. Or at least what if there is no distinct way to prove one person is wrong, then why are we even debating?
Yeah.
You know? And that's why I find presidential debates so interesting, because it goes to show how imperfect the system is, exactly, because there's always like, oh, but what if this, or the other side says, oh, but actually this, and then one side gets more aggressive, and they're like, oh no, but this is true, and then the other side gets more aggressive and says, but you're treating humans poorly, and then we proceed with all the other social issues that arise from all of that stuff.
I hate presidential debates. Because it's literally just mudslinging and people saying, I'm right, you're wrong.
Basically.
Even when, like, both sides can have legitimate points, it's like, nope, one of you has to be objectively the correct one. Which is just not really feasible.
That makes just about as much sense as 1 + 1 = 3.
And one of them is arguing about that.
Yeah.
If a Republican said 1 + 1 is 2, the Democrat has to say 1 + 1 is 3. They can't agree. They can't say the same thing. Because if they did, then why would they debate anymore?
It's totally against policy. If you're on the other side, there's no way
to agree.
Yeah.
Which is stupid.
Counterproductive to society. That's what I'm telling you, man. Have you ever seen this joke that talks about like this whole dialogue where a guy calls Bill Gates, says, hey, he calls three different people. He says, "Hey, my son is married to this person. Have him as your CEO of Microsoft." And he's like, "Okay." And then he calls the next person. He says, my son is the son-in-law of this person. Have him as your chairman, whatever." He goes like along this whole like list, like two or three people, like very high profile, like organizations, like world changing things, and none of them were true until he called each person and like verified it for sure. Like he just went kind of behind each person's back and was like, "Yeah, I'll call this person, tell him, and make a deal and cut a deal and whatever." And it was like in the end, it said, "This is how politics works."
Where you're just calling people.
He was like calling people up saying like, "My son is the CEO of Microsoft. My son is the chairman of World Health Organization." Something like
Let's
that.
make a deal.
Like something like that, yeah, and like puts his son in whatever. It's just a joke. The point is like this is how politics work.
But it is, which sucks.
A lot of backward stuff happens, man.
I don't know. Because the thing is, politicians, not all of them are poor per se, but a lot of them, and none of them are poor or uneducated per se, but a lot of them seem to want money
Yeah.
and power.
Money and power. Power and money. Those are the two key.
That's why I think a lot of politicians hate Trump, is because when he's a
Hmm.
billionaire, he doesn't need your money. You know.
Yeah, that's true. He's already
Um,
got a lot of it from selling or building big buildings.
and
But
golf courses.